Hey guys, it's Matty here from DCLblogger.com. Going to make another Decentraland Land Analysis video, but in this one it's going to be a bit interesting because there's a lot of other factors that are now in play. We have the Bitcoin market, or just the cryptocurrency market in general, just going absolutely nuts. Bitcoin's $7,900 at the moment. It's actually crossed $8,000. It's kind of fighting that $8,000 mark, and it's been going up quite significantly over the last month or so. And relative to the land market, rarely have we been in a market where Mana as a token has actually crossed and stayed above 10 cents for a long time. And it has, and if it has, it's probably been 12 to 13 cents, and it's spiked up to 25 cents in that one day, and it's spiked back down again. Rarely has it stayed or kind of crept above 15 cents and 20 cents and stayed above that level. So now with the altcoin market probably going to react to Bitcoin's crazy bull run, I'm just going to give my thoughts and my predictions, completely speculation. This is just based on what I think might happen. It probably won't happen. Oh well, who knows what will happen. But basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm just giving my opinion out there because I want to be best situated in the event of a bull market in cryptocurrency, right? And now having land that's part of my portfolio, I want to know what to do with it in this point in time. So I'm going to go over the land market, some sales, and then we're going to go across some factors that might influence the Decentraland marketplace and what I think might happen. So first of all, let's kind of go through the recent sales. There's some decent deals over the last day or a week. This is for estates. We've seen a lot more estates starting to sell. So this 4-piece land sold for $37,900. It's a pretty good buy, under 9,000 mana a piece, and pretty close to roads. I believe this is a smaller section of this. So someone bought this 9-piece 3x3. The whole 9 pieces is connected to a single road. Bought it for 105,000. I think that works out to be, does this do the math for us? Okay, 105,000 divided by 9 is about 11,500. So I think what the person has done is bought it, split these up, and sold the single parcels connected to the road separately, and then sold off that little estate just to kind of get their money back or make a bit of a profit. This one sold for 94,000 mana. It's a pretty good sale for the seller. He has made, you can say that the Genesis collected plot was 70,000, 60 to 70,000, and the non-Genesis connected plot one parcel away could have been 20 to 30,000 mana. We have this one that sold, this 5-piece land that sold for 225,000 mana 4 days ago. That is an interesting buy because it's about 45,000 mana a piece, and we all know this place is really hot, right? But we know Red Light District is going through a bit of a structure change, a bit of an idea change. I don't think they're going to be doing much adult content, so a lot of people don't really know what to do with their initial investment in that area. So we've got some other estates that have sold for relatively good prices. From a buyer's perspective, this 2-piece land in this little area over here in the Vegas area sold for 12,500 mana a piece. So yeah, there's definitely some activity. No one's dumping lands. People are selling lands for fair prices. Nothing new. A lot of positivity going, through the land market. Definitely some larger sales coming through, and I like it. I like what I see. Now the single parcels, we have a similar thing. A lot of under 10,000 mana parcels were bought up recently over the last 24 hours. You can see in the last 24 hours, there's quite a lot of land that has been sold, right? The last 5, 10, 12, just in this section. So we've got 130,000 mana for single parcels in the last 24 hours, and we have 176 or 177,000 mana. So pretty much 300,000 mana volume over the last 24 hours, which I like. I like that. I like to be close to 500,000 mana. And if we take a look at the chart, we can see that there's some consistency here over the last week. I think the bull run's really taken it to the next level. So is this a result of the Bitcoin bull run? It's a correlation I've been thinking about, and this is what I really want to get into in this conversation, because I really want to get people involved into what the hell they think is going to happen to the land market or Decentraland. So Decentraland recently had one of the members, or they were on a panel with CryptoKitties, and they discussed NFTs. They represented the Decentraland at a conference. We all know that the world should be opening soon in this quarter, second quarter, so that's like around the corner really. We have avatars coming out, so now we can finally start having content on Decentraland that we can share and people can be a part of. And one thing I did last week is, it's a weird shine. One thing I did last week was I tried out the beta for battle races. Now, if you don't know what battle races is at this point, you don't really know what to say, because they've been kind of plugging themselves everywhere. They're a game that's releasing on Decentraland, and you can buy cars and race them and throw missiles at each other. It's kind of like a little Mario Kart thing. Pretty simple game, to be honest. 7 days to go for the pre-sale. They've extended it. It was scheduled to be on the 15th. Now it's the 20 something. But I had the honor to kind of check out the game along with a lot of other people, and it was a lot of fun, to be honest. It was a lot of fun logging in to this small space and playing games with each other, seeing each other's avatars, which were all the same. They're all like robots, right? And talking to each other while doing that. And it was just a lot of fun, to be honest. And I was like, wow, you know, I can see a lot of people doing this for different purposes. Yeah, we're gaming, we're having just fun, but we can have conferences, right? So maybe in our Crypto Valley district, or maybe in the conference center, we can hold seminars and talk about issues. We can talk about the land market. I can do, you know, not seminars, but we can have a discussion panel going on. I can record the discussion panel. It really made it more of a reality to me to see what will happen. And it was exciting because I was really hoping that Decentraland will live up to what I think people will feel from it, which I was hoping was a lot of enjoyment, right? You're only going to enter a space that you enjoy. So that was really cool to see. Now, I'm going to rewind it back to what the hell is going on with the crypto market. So Bitcoin, over the last 1 month really, has gone absolutely crazy. You can see we are currently at May 14th, I think. So that is 2 weeks from this point over here, which we were sitting at 5,300. Now we've suddenly boomed to almost 8,000 US dollars. So that's over 60%, I believe. 6 times 5, 3, yep. That's over 60% in value. Oh, is it? 60% or something like that. We've gone up over the last 2 weeks, and that's above 6,000 US dollars. So we've kind of been, well, like Bitcoin has been on a positive, like a bull run, or at least a positive momentum, basically since the start of the year, right? Yeah, we went down here a little bit, but basically since Feb, we've started at 3,000 US dollars, which was pretty much the bottom, and now we've almost tripled. So what does this mean for the altcoin market? Now, there was an interesting graph that I took a look at, which was comparing Bitcoin previously, like what happened to Bitcoin in terms of its spike and how that affected Ethereum. Okay, so basically Bitcoin in the months of April 2017 to basically December 2017 had a massive bull run, right? And a lot of it was felt in the ending few months of that period. So what did we have? April to December, right? April to December. So now, if you look at what Ethereum did, April to December, let's take a look. So this is the same timeline, April till December, which is about here. Okay, so if you look at the yellow line, April till December, it's pretty much stayed either stagnant, or basically when Bitcoin showed signs of going parabolic. If you look at the yellow line here, this is the Satoshi value, or Ethereum relative to Bitcoin. You can see that it dropped pretty hard. So Ethereum couldn't keep up relative to Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin went crazy, Ethereum kind of didn't really do much. It fell, or it stayed the same in US dollar value, or maybe it increased a little bit, but it definitely didn't go as crazy as Bitcoin did, right? And then we have this period here starting from December 8th, okay? Remember that, December 8th, what happened there? December 8th, it was about here, okay? So it was basically when Bitcoin kind of reached its first major fall, although it continued to go up, it kind of fell over here. You can see here, it fell from 16K to 13K, right? So it fell from that to that point, and that was kind of Ethereum catching up. So from then onwards, from December onwards, or that 2-month period from December to Jan, Ethereum reached its main, or it kind of spiked, right? It went parabolic itself from $500 all the way to 1,100, I think even $1,400 it touched. So almost tripled in value. And that happened when Bitcoin went or was kind of stabilizing slash wasn't peaking anymore, as people kind of maybe pull their money out of Bitcoin and put it into alts, because alts were starting to have their time. The reason why I bring this up is because we're in a very similar situation, although not at this scale, but at this point in time, it is at a pretty big scale. I mean, like, we're going pretty parabolic, right? And so far, the altcoin market, you can see here, it hasn't reacted, and the same thing is going on where Ethereum is starting to dip in terms of the yellow. You can see the yellow line. It's starting to dip because that's the same thing that happened here. And eventually, when Bitcoin starts to stabilize or go up and down between maybe bounce around between 7.5 or 7,000 to 8,000, maybe Ethereum and the other altcoins are going to go nuts. Now, why I bring that up, again, there's a connection, is because Ethereum is based. I'm using Ethereum because it's my reference to all of altcoins. I feel like if Ethereum's going to go nuts, probably all the altcoins are, because Ethereum might lead the way for the altcoins to do that. Okay. Now, if the other altcoins go nuts and mana starts to spike 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, what's going to happen to the land market? We've seen previously, and I've seen this a few times actually, where when mana has spiked, people that have wanted to cash out for a long time, they wanted to sell their land, and they've been listing it for, say, 10,000 mana, it hasn't been selling for a while, even though it's the cheapest, they're suddenly ready to sell it for 8,000 mana, 7,000 mana, just because they need to cash out that mana. And mana has suddenly gone 60%, 70% in that day, right? So it makes sense for them to dip it a couple of thousand mana. Maybe you lose 20% in mana value, but you gain 60% when you cash out that mana to fiat, right? So is that going to happen again? Are we going to see a lot of people dumping their land when altcoins start to make a move? We might. And I think there will be a certain amount of that happening. We know that the land market has been kind of active for over a year, right? So that being said, a lot of people that did want to cash out their land probably have already, but the second auction brought in a lot more new investors that are holding onto their land as investments through this bear period. Now when the altcoin market starts to pick up again, they might dump their land again, okay? But say that happens and the altcoin market's doing its thing, then we also have Decentraland releasing its beta. So now we can enter Decentraland, share content, and with crypto going crazy at this point in time, it's the perfect time to start sharing content about Decentraland in terms of what the world looks like inside. Hopefully it loads well and my computer can handle it. But if we can start sharing content when people are Ethereum rich, Bitcoin rich, crypto rich in general, would that balance out the fact that mana now is sitting at maybe 10 to 15 cents, because suddenly we have a big influx of crypto rich people that eventually Bitcoin and the altcoins are going to start to find some form of stability. And as people pull their money out of that, now that when people have a lot of money, they tend to spend it easier, right? Because suddenly you've gone from holding on to your $1,000 because you wanted to suddenly go to, you wanted to grow at the best rate possible, to suddenly having like $50,000, maybe, if you get lucky being crypto rich through some kind of a bull market, Obviously that's a bit unrealistic, that's 50x, but you get my point, right? Maybe you go from 5,000 to 50,000, and suddenly you're happy to spend 5,000, 10,000 on different places. People don't really know how to manage large, even me, like I don't know how to manage, large portfolios well. Like for me, sometimes it's just a lot of money and I don't really make the best technical decisions, relative to what I think is large. It's not really that much, but historically when people become crypto rich, they've spent a lot on random things. You've seen like people start to buy Lamborghinis and stuff, right? So will this money be brought back into the land market? And another thing that's going to be interesting is there has been hints that the rental market's going to open up. Now if the rental market opens up for Decentraland and people are buying, people are renting out these lands, and crypto rich people start to realize, or other people in the crypto world start to realize, that having land is a form of income. You get mana, you can probably exchange that mana into your favorite altcoin or even Bitcoin, and owning these lands gets you a monthly revenue or maybe even a weekly revenue. Suddenly the proposition of owning these lands is increased, right? Especially for people that have larger estates. And this is the reason why I've invested very, very heavily in large estates, because I feel like the larger game developers are going to want larger estates. It just makes better sense, because to make anything awesome in Decentraland, you really need some space. I mean, like each little land is only 16 by 16 meters. It's not really that much. So you really need some space if you want to do stuff. So in that being said, like, that's why I bought this one for like 650,000 mana recently. It's 11 lands by 5 lands, so it's got some decent space. Now, how much rent am I expecting for this? I have no clue. But if I can get maybe $500 a month, I don't know, maybe $300 a month for something this size, hopefully some big game developer rents it, maybe someone that's interested in the Chinese district, Dragon City. Suddenly this becomes a business opportunity of monthly revenue, of where you can start to invest in these lands and just kind of chill out, right? And people love passive income. So if this becomes a passive income opportunity, then it might suddenly bring a whole new value aspect to Decentraland that we haven't seen before. So that might offset the whole, like, people that may dump their lands because of Decentraland, the mana token booms. But there's a lot of factors at play. But to be honest, I haven't seen how this situation before, where Decentraland will go kind of crazy in terms of the mana token. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Either way, I've got an alt bag. I don't have any Bitcoin. I really should have some Bitcoin, but I don't. I have some altcoins. I have a lot of land. I've got some mana token. Let's really see what happens with this. When all the dust settles, I feel like what's going to happen is Bitcoin's going to boom, altcoin's going to boom, Decentraland may release their open world. People will start to share content, designers, and they'll have way more competitions. People will join Decentraland. Now with being more crypto rich, they'll buy more. So suddenly these lands that might be worth more, and then hopefully that will work out. Because the reason why I invested in land is because it kind of protects me. If mana goes down, it becomes cheaper to get mana. So now suddenly a 1 million mana land might be more affordable to some people. So maybe I can increase it to 1.5 million mana. If mana goes up, I'll keep it as it is, and it might sell because it brings more popularity to the platform. So in that sense, it's kind of a hedge against the crazy swings of crypto. So far, it's been a good hedge, but at this level, we don't really know what's going to happen. Anyway, just some of my thoughts. I don't know what you guys might think will happen. Let me know in your comments. I want to have a discussion about this. I want to see what happens, because at the end of the day, we're in this to make money. We're in this to create value. We're in this to better our lives somehow. So let's see what happens.